Welcome, gentlemen. We are out here in the rain today, which is symbolic of purifying and cleansing old thoughts. And it's going to tie into this subject real nicely because what is it that all men, most men I should say, from all walks of life really want? Love, affection, intimacy, pleasure, sex? Yeah, all of these things. And you know what? As a man, you don't need anyone else's permission to go for them because these things, these wonderful things are around you all the time, or at least they should be. And if you read my book, Metaphor, you know what I'm talking about right now. The point that I'm trying to make right now is do not buy into the system because as a man, you're not broken and you're not flawed and you shouldn't feel shameful for wanting as much of these pleasures as possible. The main reason for you wanting these pleasures are you're a man. And these pleasures are available to those men that want to go out there and do something about it. Unless you get a divorce and it's not free. However, listen, this doesn't mean you can just go out there and take these things from women because real men do not need to take anything from anyone. This is why I secretly believe that some cultures have a problem with women's rights because they're secretly afraid if a woman has rights, then they can choose on their own and they're just not going to get any. And you just don't earn these beautiful qualities unless you show a woman certain qualities that are attractive to them. Because remember what we talked about before. Women usually want a man who knows what he wants, and this is a fundamental principle in your success with women. So, why is this path about improving your social and sexual skills as a man challenging and yet a worthy goal? Well, this is my theory, and it's based on thousands of hours of working with men and women on the subject for over 20 years. And what I'm about to say is not meant to be disrespectful, but it is meant to be realistic. So, with that in mind, listen. Most women will never understand how difficult it can be for a man to attract love, affection, or intimacy in his life, or even sex for that matter, because the process is just very different for men and women. And this is why I say in the simplest form, getting laid for a man is a chore. Getting laid for a woman is a choice. And in the future, I'm going to explain this in much greater detail. But this video isn't about that because I'm basically here today just to shed some light on the many trials and tribulations that you're going to experience if this is the path that you're exploring in regards to improving your own female friendliness. Because if you're choosing to embark on this journey, you're going to have to look at yourself with brutal honesty. And you may not like what you find at first. And chances are that you're going to have to rethink a lot of what society or even people from your past placed in your head. So, the ability to unlearn what you thought was right can become a daunting task for the aspiring, self-realized man. And this is why, in my opinion, so many men give up and end up playing the blame game, placing their blame on women or even men trying to help them. This is a victim mentality, and it is not a manly thing to do. So, why does this happen? Well, I believe it happens because most men out there are just lazy, and they're not willing to do the work it takes to evolve into a self-aware, self-sufficient man. The problematic mindset that I've run into over and over is that somehow men feel that they're somehow entitled to these things without doing any work, and they're looking for the shortcut to success. So, why is it that only a small amount of men really create the life and the lifestyle that they want? Well, a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're not looking to others to give them permission or some magic pill that doesn't work. The only thing that's going to work is your commitment to go after what you want until you develop the skills that get you there. And it may take you many years until you do that. I know it did for me, but when I started on this path, there wasn't any information on the subject. So it was a lot harder then, literally, unfortunately, but we cannot be 17 forever. Listen, bottom line is this. You're going to have to go out there and find your own way if you want to attract women into your life. And here's a story that illustrates why some men get it and others don't. Once upon a time, there was a young man, and he went up to the Buddha and he approached him, and he basically said, hey, I've been teaching your teachings for many years. He'd listened to talks on enlightenment. He had spent time meditating on principles that he just really didn't put into practice. Now, one particular evening, he asked the Buddha, he said, for years I've been coming to you for your teachings. I've tried to learn about the path to enlightenment, but found that it has not altered my life in any way. What's your question? Asked the Buddha. Well, over the years, said the young man, I've seen many people come to your teachings. Some stay, some leave. Among them are monks and nuns, the rich, the poor, women, men, children. And some of these people have seemed to have reached their goal. They have a sense of inner peace. They care for others. They're alive in their joy and their happiness. But this is not true for everyone, or perhaps even the majority. I would say that most are no different from when they first came to see you. And for some, life circumstances have even deteriorated. You're obviously a great teacher. You're caring and concerned for these people. Why don't you use your power to help them? Why don't you assist them to reach the ultimate goal? Where's your home? Asked the Buddha. The man told him the name of his hometown and explained how a few years ago he moved there in search of employment. Do you still return home? Asked the Buddha. Yeah, as often as I can, said the young man. My friends and family are still there, and I even have a girlfriend that one day I hope to marry. Then observed the Buddha. If you travel it so frequently, you must know it very well. Like the back of my hand, replied the young man. Well, if you know it so well, could you describe it to someone who's planning to do the journey himself? I've described it often to people who have asked me the way. Of those who ask you for directions, inquired the Buddha, does everyone set out on the journey? No, said the young man. Many inquire, but not all of them attempt it. Some would like to, but they just don't seem around to getting to it. Of those who do set out, how many make the final destination? Well, said the young man, usually only those that have set the hometown, my hometown, as the goal. So you see, the path to get to my hometown isn't easy, and some give up along the way. Some choose only to go part way, and they don't have the full journey as their objective. Then said the Buddha, we both have a very similar experience. People come to me, seeing me as someone who has made a particular journey and knows the path very well. They ask me to explain it to them. They may enjoy the description of the path and like the way I talk about it, but not everyone steps onto it. And of those who do, not everyone chooses to walk its full distance. And consequently, not everyone reaches the ultimate goal. Like you, said the Buddha, I seek to describe the path as clearly and as truthfully as I can. I cannot push, pull, or carry someone along the way. All I can say is I've walked the path. These are the things that I have learned on the journey. This is my experience of it. I'm happy to share my experience of it with you. I can do no more. If you want to reach your goal, you must walk the path yourself. And with that being said, how many of you out there really want with all your heart to become more successful with women? And are you willing to do whatever it takes to make that realm work? Now, this may mean that you're going to have to start going to the gym, putting down the Xbox, eating healthier, or maybe even joining a men's mastermind group. Hell, I run one. But the point I'm trying to make is this. You have to go out there and do it. And you have to look at yourself realistically on this path, because it's not easy for the average man, because the difference between manhood and boyhood is separated by one thing: responsibility. When you commit and you take full responsibility for your life, your health, your mindset, and you decide to move forward powerfully with appreciation of the journey that you're already on, only then, when you do that, are you really going to start to get it. Ambition is the path to success. Persistence is the vehicle you'll arrive in, and the vehicle's you. Success is about dedication. You may not be where you want to be or do what you want to do while you're on the journey, but you've got to be willing to have vision and foresight that leads you to an incredible end. And since this is the end of this hip tip, if you liked the video and enjoyed it, please hit subscribe and please like the video down below. And remember, when you double your fun, you double your pleasure. Until next time, Hypnotica